If you're a job seeker, then perhaps you need to hear this. You know, back in a time during the Industrial Revolution era, now we are in the information age. So this is a different time. But during the Industrial Revolution time, we had, I would say, we had more machines and equipment than the people who knew how to operate them. Do you get what I'm saying? So we had few people who had the knowledge and skills and talents enough to operate a particular machine in order to produce a particular product or just some service. And because of that, it was crucial to have a summary about yourself. If it happened, you had those skills and talent, and send it to the employer so that the employer may be able to know about you amongst the big crowd of people who have no idea about what is going on in the technology industry. But times have been changing. So just finishing the story is that back in the day, because there were very few people who knew how to operate these machines and equipment, all you need to do was to prepare a summary and send it to the employer, and then the employer, after they see the summary about you, about what you can do, they would then contact you and perhaps call you to an employment. And many people, I think, they got employment in that way. That's why if you would ask people now, I don't know about other parts of the world, but I would say back in Tanzania, immediately after we had independence, that's when I know perfectly what happens is that it was easy for many people to get employment. It was very easy. You graduate, you are called to an office. You graduate, you are being called to an industry. You are being called to a business. People were being allocated to employment soon after graduation. But now we have reached to the point where the technology maybe has not changed so much in a long period of time. And we have had so many people acquiring knowledge and skills to operate the same equipment. So at the end of the day, we have more people who are capable of operating a particular machines or equipment more than the available equipment or machines to operate. And this is why now we've reached to the point where you may be skilled in a particular area and still get rejected by the employer. And you may end up complaining, but if you dig deeper and see, you realize there was someone also doing the same thing. Now, maybe you do better than them, but the thing is, how can the employer prove within a short period of time? Sometimes it's very hard to prove that you could be better than someone else in the same field or in the same area. So we have a lot of people nowadays. If it was in my power, I would say in this age, forget about your CV, forget about preparing your cover letter, because there is a large chance nobody will open your cover letter or nobody will open your CVs. That's why I said again, over 80% of employments in today's age are available through networking. Why? Because we have so many graduates. Imagine, every year there are graduates pouring out of the schools and universities in a particular industry, and compare them to the number of available vacancies that are being announced by the jobs or businesses. Compare and see the ratio, see the proportionality. It's overwhelming. It's so much opposite. So if you would still depend on sending CV and being selected from the CV, actually, I'm not saying it doesn't work. It works, but it could only work one person out of maybe 500 people. And that is the situation. That's why we are complaining of unemployment, because of that ratio and proportionality. We have a large number of graduates, we have a larger number of job seekers, and every group that graduates gets into the group of job seekers with almost this constant amount of jobs. How many jobs are being created each year? How many jobs are being created each year? Now, when you come to learn that, then you come to the point of realizing that we have to change the strategy. You can never continue to seek jobs the same way our grandparents and great grandparents have been seeking jobs, and expect to get the same result as they did get it back then, because the times were different. That way, in a different time, you have to come up with a different way. And now, this being the information age, I think the power that lies with people now is the power of information, and information is being associated with the power of thinking. That means your employability in today's age should depend more on the power of thinking that you can demonstrate. How much can you bring on the table the innovative ideas? How much can you generate value and you can demonstrate to the employers? You can still get employed, but how much can you persuade the employer to imagine and think that he can get value from your ideas, from anything else? And I think this is how today's generation is supposed to combat unemployment challenge. That means you have to be creative, you have to be innovative, think of the ways that you may generate value for the employer, so that the employer does not have to look at the CVs anymore, but instead they have to look at your ideas. And actually, this is what is happening. I think large amount of people nowadays are sending CV or are being asked to send CVs after they have been hired by the employers. After they have been hired, after the employer have proved that this person is a valuable person, he can generate a lot of value in my company, he will then say, please send me your CV so that we can complete the formalities and something like that. So this was just a tip. Of my screen just went out. So this was just the tip for the employers. Like, seek first to generate value. Forget about the CV. Actually, prepare the CVs and prepare the cover letter as a backup plan, but do not make that as a primary plan for seeking job, because it does not work. And if it works for few, does not mean it will work for many people. And we can always assess the reliability of something only if it has a higher chance of working out, only if the frequency of working out exceeds the frequency of not working out. But can we measure the reliability of sending job application using CVs and cover letters? For how many people has it worked? I don't think it is effective anymore. I don't think it is effective anymore. And maybe to conclude, I've approached a number of organizations here in Finland, and what I've learned is that most of businesses and organizations, they are interested in working together with somebody, not hiring them, because of the funds, the resources are so much strict. So, but they are open to work together with you in a collaborative environment. And I think this is even a big opportunity. I will talk about this some other time. It will demand a lot of time. Yeah, but just to conclude, somebody may ask, so how can you develop value? How can you become valuable? You become valuable by this. When you are preparing your CV, I think most of us, we have done that. When you're explaining about your skills and talents on your CV, most of the time you would say, I can use Microsoft Office. I can use Microsoft Office Word. I can use PowerPoint. I can use Photoshop. That, of course, shows what you can do, but it does not show the value. The value of anybody lies in the ability to produce either a product or a service. To say I can use Photoshop, that is not a service, is not a product. That is just about me. But the employer is interested in the product or service. So instead of saying I can use Word, demonstrate to the employer that I can make marketing material. I'm able to generate flyers from Word. That is different from saying I can use Word. Instead of saying I can use Microsoft Office Word, say I can generate, say, logos. There are many products that you can generate out of Word, but a lot of people would say I can use Word. But when you start mentioning the flyers, when you start mentioning the posters, when you start mentioning any sort of product that can be generated out of Word, they have no idea what is that. And trust me, that is how you generate, because any business would be interested in somebody who can generate marketing material, because they want to reach more customers. Instead of saying I can make Photoshop, show them the flyers, show them your design, show them that you can edit photos that they can use for their marketing advantage. And that is how you become valuable. Instead of saying I'm a good speaker, say I can organize an event and demonstrate to the employer that this is the event which I organized. And why? Because any organization or business, they're interested in reaching more people. If you have demonstrated that you can organize an event, that means you have given assurance for them reaching even more customers. And better, if you also involve the digital media in your events. So when they see, they will ask, so how many subscribers do you have? Or I have only 1K subscribers. Then that is way better than just saying, I can speak. I can speak. You can speak, so what? Many people can speak. But what can you generate that will differentiate you from other people? That is how you develop value. So that was a tip for job seekers today. Watch out for the next. Thank you and bye-bye.